these streets.
And I'm just like you.
We getting locked by these caps.
And I'm just like you.
We fulfill the prophecies.
And I'm just like you.
You might be light, I might be dark.
But I'm just like you.
We kill each other over colors.
Damn, I'm just like you.
I'm in these ghettos, in these
And
slums.
I'm just like you.
They call you nigga, call me spick.
And I'm just like you.
You was 1619, I was 1492. We getting shot in these streets.
And I'm just like you.
We getting locked by these
And
caps.
I'm just like you.
Welcome to FCN Quick News of the Day. I'm your host, Captain Zakar, and today in the news.
Governor Gavin Newsom signed a law on Saturday requiring California to house transgender inmates in prison based on their gender identity.
Signed a law. So if you were born a man, but in your mind you think you are a woman and you actually commit a crime like a man, you can be put into a female prison. By law. Read on.
But only if the state does not have management or security concerns.
Meaning that you really have to be a transgender. Like you can't fake it with them. They want to make sure you're not faking it. Read.
The California Department of Corrections and Rehabilitation houses men and women in separate facilities. Transgender inmates are often housed based on their sex assigned at birth. Advocates say this is dangerous, particularly for transgender women housed in facilities for men.
It's dangerous to be born a man and change your sex to a woman in the eyes of God too. Read.
The law Newsom signed Saturday says officers must ask inmates privately during the intake process if they identify as transgender, non-binary or intersex.
What is intersex? Now this is the inventions of man here. Read.
Those inmates can then request to be placed in a facility that house either men or women.
Let's go to the scriptures to see what's happening spiritually here. Let's go to Revelation chapter 11 and verse 8.
The book of Revelation, chapter 11 and verse 8. And their dead bodies shall lie in the street of that great city.
Their dead bodies. What does it mean, dead bodies in the street? Let's go to Ephesians chapter 2 and let's read verse 1.
Ephesians chapter 2 and verse 1. And you have he quickened who were dead in trespasses and sin.
And sin. You were dead in sins. Let's add on to that Proverbs chapter 21 and let's read verse 16, because the Bible has to be read how? Precept upon precept, because God uses similitudes to describe certain things of the Bible. Let's read that Proverbs chapter 21 and let's read verse 16.
Proverbs chapter 21 and verse 16. The man that wandereth out of the way of understanding shall remain in the congregation of the dead.
If you leave the understanding that the blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians are the Israelites, you will remain in the congregation of the dead, sinning over and over again, and you will be a dead body in the great city in the eyes of God. Let's go back to Revelation chapter 11 and verse 8.
Revelation chapter 11 and verse 8. And their dead bodies shall lie in the street of that great city.
That great city is America. Read.
Which spiritually is called Sodom and Egypt.
It's called Sodom and Egypt. Let's prove that this place is America. Go to Revelation 17 and let's read verse 18 to show that great city is actually America. Read.
Revelation chapter 17 and verse 18. And the woman which thou sawest is the great city.
Is the great city that we just read in Revelation 11. Read.
Which reigneth over the kings of the earth.
It rules over the entire earth. What other country does that besides America? That is the great city. That's the great whore. That is spiritually Sodom and Egypt of the Bible. Let's go to Isaiah chapter 3. And let's read verse 9 to show how it is spiritual Sodom.
The book of Isaiah chapter 3 and verse 9. The show of their countenance does witness against them, and they declare their sin as Sodom.
They declare their sin as Sodom. We see it here with the law that was passed in California. Man, if you identify as a woman, you can go to a woman's prison. If you're a woman, identify as a man, you can go to a man's prison. They declare their sin as Sodom in no other place but the great city called Babylon the Great.
Isaiah chapter 3 and verse 9.
Uh-huh.
The show of their countenance doth witness against them, and they declare their sin as Sodom.
Uh-huh.
They hide it not.
They hide it not. Read it.
Woe unto their soul, for they have rewarded evil unto themselves.
God says they have rewarded evil unto themselves. Not him. They have rewarded evil to themselves. By what? Changing, for wanting to change their identity from a man to a woman. So when you do crime and you go to prison, you reward evil to yourself. You reward the evil to yourself. Now let's go to Romans chapter 1. And let's read verse 25 to show what God says about that.
Romans chapter 1 and verse 25.
Uh-huh.
Who changed the truth of God into a lie?
God is asking, who changed the truth of God? The truth of God that a man is born a man. A woman is born a woman. There is no intersex. There is no gender fluid. There is no non-binary. God is saying, who changed the truth of God into a lie? Who could it be? Read on.
And worship and serve the creature more than the creator.
And you know what that means? That whatever law they pass, we adhere to that instead of the laws of God. We worship the creature more than the creator. Read on.
Who is blessed forever. Amen.
Let's go to Psalms chapter 94 and let's read verse 20 to show who changed the truth of God into a lie and made it okay to declare your sin as Sodom. Read.
Psalms chapter 94 and verse 20. Shall the throne of iniquity have fellowship with thee?
The throne of iniquity, the throne of sin is where? Here in America. Babylon the Great, where you can have freedom of religion, freedom of sexual identity, freedom of speech. This is the throne of sin. Read it.
Which frameth mischief by a law.
They do what?
Frameth mischief by a law.
They frameth mischief by a law like the California governor did. They framed mischief by a law, making it okay to be transgender and making them feel comfortable in their sin. They have framed mischief by a law. Read on.
They gather themselves together against the soul of the righteous.
They gather against the souls of the righteous to speak evil and condemn the words of God. Read.
And condemn the innocent blood. But the Lord is my defense, and my God is the rock of
But God, read on.
Is the rock of my refuge.
But God will redeem us. He will save us. He will protect us if we stand and speak his word as it is written. Let's go to Isaiah chapter 13 and let's read verse 4 and 5 to show what's the judgment of the throne of iniquity.
Isaiah chapter 13 and verse 4. The noise of a multitude in the mountains, like as of a great people, a tumultuous noise of the kingdoms of nations gathered together. The Lord of hosts mustereth the host of the battle.
That's World War III you're reading about right there. All nations coming together, a loud noise. Read verse 5.
They come from a far country, from the end of heaven, even the Lord. And the weapons of his indignation.
The weapons of God's indignation are nuclear bombs, ICBMs. Read.
To destroy the whole land.
The judgment for the throne of iniquity that frames mischief by law, God said he will destroy it from off the face of the land.
We used to scream black power while heroin was pushed. But at the end of the day, nothing's in vain. IUIC has been given a vision. The tents of Judah has risen. Many has attempted the mission, minor murmuring, omitting, and missing the mark. Just reading that he had the flame of fire in his eyes gave us the spark. We on Paul's mission. We out on the road, purple and gold. From Mexico, Cuba, Haiti, Ghana, Sierra Leone. 144,000 boots banging, concrete crackling. These are our men repented at heart. The scriptures is proof. IUIC, we deliver the truth.